I'm coming to you a little washed out. It's nighttime. I had a long day today, long emotional day today, actually. And I was going to record a new episode about this, and I thought, record it in its rawest form. I'm in my little General Hospital nightshirt. If you guys are listening to this, you can't see it. I have my cap on because my hair is crazy. But after a long day, I thought, why don't I end my night by recording this podcast with you? I saw something up there. That thing's crawling around all the time because I have a lot of plants. It's very interesting. Let me start it this way. I've been working on myself for the last 40 years of my 53 years of my life. I have been off and on therapy, friendships, mentorships, books, seminars, whatever, all kinds of stuff, education, whatever stuff, to work on myself, to be the best James Lott Jr. I can be. But I will say the last 5 or 6 years, I feel, well, last 13 were a turning point. The last 5 or 6 years have really solidified into me sliding into who I am, meaning knowing who I am. Not what people say I am or people tell me I am, but myself, knowing the good, the bad, the not so great, all the warts and all, knowing honestly who I am. And I'm telling you, it's freeing. It's freeing. It's liberating. It's forgiving. It tells me, it gives me permission to be human. But I don't hide by any excuses. I say what I say, I do what I do, I am what I am, or I am who I am, all that. Like I stand by the things that I do. I apologize for any mistakes or things that I've made. But it makes things easier, right? I know my limits and boundaries. And I start putting myself first in a way I give to everybody all the time. I'm always giving to the public, giving to the friends, giving to family. But I've added myself to the rotation. I give to myself. That's something that it's been, I guess, a long time coming. It's like, I was so busy trying to get certain people to feel a certain way about me, including my father and a few other people, that I lost sight of how do I feel about me? And also, how do I feel about how do I feel about them? Isn't that funny? It's always about them, and how it relates to me. It's always things are being done to me, and things are coming at me. And you realize that's not really how it is. Not really. It's not that. And I think I had to tell myself, no, that's not really it. It seems that way at first, but it's me changing my life. I'm changing the games, in quotes. I'm changing the positions. I'm changing how I'm allowing certain things. And that's what's the ripple effect and things are happening because of it. And I was like, oh, that's what's going on. So when I say to somebody, that does not work anymore, your behavior does not work anymore, and they're upset about that, and they don't like it, and they react and maybe retaliate or do something, they're not doing it to me, they're reacting to me. They're reacting. They're like, oh, James has changed the game. He is changing the rules. I don't care for that. That's all that is. And so then it's my turn to react to them, however. And so I feel like I am the clearest headed person today that I've ever been. I feel like I see things super clearly. I'm able to sit and look at things in a big, clear picture. And that's something that I'm very proud of. I think I can really do that. And I love that. And come to conclusions that are best for me. Now, for some people, I have to remind myself they have their own agendas, they have their own feelings, they have their own stuff. When you go into a conversation with them or how they look at you. Now, it's interesting when you talk to people who aren't in therapy, who aren't working on themselves, who don't believe in a higher spiritual power, who aren't reading, self-help books, or who are not doing anything for themselves. Because I would never tell somebody how to work on themselves. It's different for everyone. But there's people who are just, I would say, untreated, walking around. So interesting. So for me, now I'm at a point where they may say things to me, it doesn't bother me anymore. Much thicker skin. And I know myself now that I go, if they can say whatever they want to me, I know the truth. But for me, it's been an eye-opening experience on what they think of me and what they do actually say to me. You're like, oh, so you think that I'm a cold fish, or you think I'm a this. That's interesting. Did not realize that. That's what I'm talking about. That's the most interesting part now for me. Because I'm a public eye. I get called names, things all the time. I don't care. It just doesn't really bother me. They don't know me, I don't know them. And so it's easy. It's a little harder when it comes to people who are in your circle, friends or family who are friends, or friends who are family. And at first you're like, wait a minute. I was having a conversation with my brother, and we're totally two different people. We agree on some things, but over the years, I always thought he was the hard ass and I was a super sensitive one. And it seems as we were talking, things have switched somehow where I'm more the hard ass and he's the sensitive one. And what I had to realize, because again, he's not diagnosed, he's not been treated for anything. I have no idea what his thought process. We don't have any diagnoses, but for me, as a person who's a life coach and has had experience like that, I look at him and I go, he's searching for something because he's been running for so long. I'm not going to tell all his business, of course, but we're just saying we grew up messed up. But I tackled it early on. I said, okay, I got to handle this and try to fix whatever it is with me. And I feel like, so when he says certain things to me that may seem rude or seem kind of like, really, you think that about me? I just take it with a grain of salt now. I don't get offended. I go, okay, you read it. You think that about me? You think that about me? Particularly with our family and how I don't talk to many of them. And he was like, yeah, you're way more harsh on that, blah, blah. And I'm like, I value myself. And I'm not going to be in an abusive relationship with anybody. You're not going to treat me however you feel like it. If you're showing me this is how you are, I need to leave you alone and let you be who you are. I'm not here to train nobody or change nobody. Those things are all done and gone. So I am very clear. If you are this kind of person and you're like, for example, I'm deathly sick. I need your help. You say I'm going to come over and help you. You don't show up. You don't call. You don't say you're sorry. No, we never talk about it. Then a year later, you're talking shit about me to people that we know behind my back. Then it gets back to me, of course. And then a year after that, you're like, just forgive me. Just forget. I'm like, do you know what I said, I'm saying to this person, do you know what I need you to forgive, do you know what you need forgiveness for? And this person couldn't say anything. So that's how not important I am. That's how not important my feelings were. Well, that does not work for me. And I'm like, no, we're not going to continue. And it's fine. I let this person know I love you. I will always love you. I want the best for you. I don't want anything bad to happen to you. You take care of business, you do it, but I'm done. And I just shared it with my brother. I'm like, that I want people in my life who are going to bring some life that's positive, that are encouraging, that show up. I think, it's one of the things that we do. Now, we all do it. And I've done it. We've all do it. So again, I'm human. We've all done it. There's people in our lives that have been in our lives for a long time. There are people in our lives that are just have always been around, or when you were younger, their behavior was acceptable. So now you're older, now you're wiser, now you're like, no, this doesn't work for me. And it's weird to let them go. That's a hard one because you're like, but they've always been around. We've always talked to, and you're still hoping on some level, because it is, that they'll change or that they'll say they're sorry to you. It never happens. And so I've realized we all do that sometimes. We keep people around just because you just do, or out of some obligation. Well, that's my cousin. I have to talk. I can't be just like, but they mistreat you over and over again. It's like and I'm not talking mistreatments like they're slashing your tires or calling your names. There are so many insidious ways to really not be there for a person and really treat them not well. And sometimes we think we deserve it. Sometimes we think it's our job, our burden. I mean, there's so many, but see, I've got rid of all that. So I'm very clear. You do something that I don't like, I try to talk to you about it and work it out. If we can't work it out, and then we're it. That's it. And there are folks where, because social media is so rampant, so if I talk to you, if I talk with you, I have a sister that I don't really like. I used to like her, but who she's become, I don't care for her. And I have two sisters that way. I don't care for them. So I don't talk to them. I love them as my sisters. I love them from afar. Both of them are just not, to me, good people. It's not. And that's yes, it's a judgment on me, but I have stuff based on why I don't care for them. I don't wish anything bad to happen to them. I'm not telling them to fall off a building or anything. I was like, for me, they don't work in my life. For what they believe in, what they stand for, what they say, what they do does not work with who I am. And I don't think you have to be subjected to that. I think that it's okay to go, nope, that's not where it doesn't work. Nope. Nope, does not work. Nope, does not work. I think it's okay to do that. And I think if more of us did that, we'd have healthy relationships. But I want to make it clear, in many situations that I'm talking about, like I do try to work it out first, like a job. I'll try to work it out first. So, because I'm a person who likes to work things out, and just hopefully, can we come to a common ground? Can this be something that we can really work out? Then when it becomes clear we can't, that's when it's like, okay, time to let go. And letting go is hard. I've been let go of. I've had friends, I guess, who thought I wasn't enough for them or wasn't for them anymore. And they let me go. And I had to accept it. Had to accept it. And I think it's hard. It's hard as F, but you have to. But when you're evolving, when you're educating yourself, when you are doing the work to become a better version of yourself, not everybody is moving the same pace. They're not going the same direction. Because I'll tell you, when I talk to people who are doing similar work on themselves, it's amazing conversations. I was in an Uber today I left, that me and the driver had an amazing conversation about mindset and Blackness and America and Los Angeles. It was a great conversation. I'm like, and that he said the person before him had such a nasty attitude. I had a guy on chat for Apple chat. I needed him for some stuff. He was so patient. He went step by step with me. His name was Cameron from Apple. I don't know who he is. We didn't talk, but I was doing screenshots. And it was a very methodical process we were working on for 2 hours, 2.5 hours. It was very helpful. And I love that. I was like, that's was good customer service. You know, that's to me like that was good customer service. I'm so happy that happened. So that's, you know, but I'm also an evolving person, and I know how to stay calm and know how to stay calm. I know how to um, just talk slowly, and you know, it's just there's a lot of things you have to do. I think, and people just don't do. But when you're evolving and changing, you just have to remember not everybody's gonna it's not everybody's not doing it. So they may say stuff and view a certain way. You're like, that's not me. You may feel the need to want to defend yourself or whatever. I was talking to my brother, and we were talking about people in our family and stuff, just little things that were going on. And I was like, but, 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 I was saying, I was making a point, and he has a way of trying to cut me off. Well, I don't hear that, or I already know already. But I'm like, I'm making a point. And then it's not like I'm talking for 10 hours. Some people can talk, you know, forever, like get to the point. I'm getting to the point. It's a quick point. But you just was like, you don't want to hear it, and you're just bothered. And I'm like, you don't talk to people that way. And it's like, if I think myself, he's not evolved enough to not talk to me that way. And it's like a little child who just gets impatient. And I'm surrounded by people, in some people, that they're not evolved. And I have to take deep breaths and go, okay. And then I have folks who are wonderful. Shout out to my friend Tara Fleming, a couple of people in my life who are just these, well, my Aunt Faith, who are just these evolved people who are always educating themselves, always evolving, always are, you know, they don't treat me a certain way. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of talk about that. Um, you're out there. I hope that you are, whatever form you're doing, that you're working on bettering yourself, and that you are trying to become the best version of you for yourself. And then hopefully that will help you in turn handle everyone around you. AlottaHelp.com is my website. I am a professional organizer, of course, but I am a certified life coach. I have coaching sessions available. You can do them through Zoom, FaceTime, Skype, phone. I know with COVID going around, we don't have to be in person. But I have some good rates. We can do that, and let's get your life in order. However you do, whatever you need, I'm here. A lot of help on Facebook page. I'm James Lott Jr. I'll see you next time.